My name is Kati Gonzalez, and I am a member of the Kansas City Metro chapter. And I'm involved in a handful of local committees, including serving as the webmaster on the Communications Committee, K-12 Outreach, Awards, and the co-chair of the Government Affairs Committee. I'm on the national level as well, and I currently serve as a member of the Government Affairs Committee and previously chaired the Young Professionals Committee. For the past 3 PWXs, I've had the opportunity to be the MC for the First Timers Breakfast and help welcome and connect our newest attendees with the conference and the people around us. But I guess the main reason I was invited to MC the breakfast was to tell my story. My APWA story starts out when I was but a young lass. I was an impressionable 19-year-old intern at the city of Liberty, Missouri. And my public works director came up to me one day and was like, "Hey kid, you should check out APWA." And before I could say no, he said the 2 most magical words anyone could say to a college student: there's scholarships. Naturally, I immediately joined and quickly got swindled into helping start the first ever APWA student chapter at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. I spent my college years developing and growing the student chapter, going to local events at the local KC Metro chapter, and through this, I found my people. For anyone involved with APWA for any amount of time, you're gonna hear this a lot. APWA is a family. But not only that, I can honestly say every single thing I've achieved in my career has been directly related to my involvement with APWA, and they did not pay me to say that. That first internship evolved into a few more, and when I graduated college in 2010, when there wasn't a job to be found, the connections I had made through APWA helped me land my first big girl job. In 2012, I was selected to participate in the Emerging Leaders Academy. That was my first real exposure to APWA on a national level, but the program also spent a lot of time on career development and self-reflection, and it helped me home in on what I really wanted to be when I grew up. So I joined some local chapter committees. I made a transition back to the public sector. I spent a couple years as a construction inspector, and one day I was playing around on the Work Zone newsletter. And after I diligently read all the announcements and news and updates, I made my way to the end where the job postings are. And I kid you not, there were 3 public works director positions open in the Kansas City area. I turned to my husband and I said, you know, this is what I really want to do. I want to be a public works director. As it turns out, a couple months later, I attended an event and ran into one of my mentors. Let me tell you about this mentor. We can call him Larry. By some act of grace, he chose me. He has been an incredible role model whom I met during my days at the student chapter, and he dedicated his life to the public works profession. So we're talking, and he says, "Kati, did you know that Raytown's looking for a public works director?" I said, "Yeah, I did." And he goes, "Well, I think you would be a great candidate." And I laughed and I said something like, "You put the Larry in hilarious." And he turned, he looked at me and he said, "The city administrator is here and I'd like to introduce you to him right now." So I took a deep breath, had that first meeting, applied for the job, survived a couple rounds of interviews, and just a short time later, I found myself accepting the opportunity to become the next public works director of the city of Raytown. Skipping ahead a few years, another opportunity presented itself. This time, it was to become the assistant director and city engineer for my hometown. This was a huge deal for me because anyone who has seen the TV show Parks and Recreation, I am Leslie Knope in real life. And if you haven't seen it, Leslie Knope is the deputy director of her hometown Parks and Recreation department. She's a barrel full of energy, she loves her job, and she loves her city. That was me. But then this thing called COVID happened, and through some compounding circumstances, my position with the city was eliminated. I cannot begin to describe the string of emotions that occurred when this happened, but what I can say is before the dust settled, my APWA family was already there, and within weeks of beginning my search, during what people thought would be the next Great Recession, I had found a place to land. Along yet another APWA colleague, I met all those years at the student chapter. This experience was something entirely new for me. It was back to the private sector, and it was just a really great opportunity to grow as a professional. I had a chance to learn and hone skills I never even knew I had, and it was an incredibly important part of my journey. So last year I made the tough decision to go in a different direction, and through some twists and turns, I ended up opening my business, Kati Gone Consult. The premise of Kati Gone is helping public works departments around the country with their big initiatives, projects, and goals that always seem just out of reach. The reason I mention it is because being able to take this leap of faith is truly a culmination of nearly 20 years of involvement with APWA and the entire public works community. And I know that even though I'm technically on my own, I'm definitely not alone. So why am I involved with APWA? Honestly, the same reason anyone gets involved. A boss or colleague dragged us to an event or bribed us with scholarships and said, hey, look how neat this is. But what makes us stick around? I've said it before and I'll say it 1,000 times more. The people who feel welcomed into the family are the people who get engaged. But most importantly, what makes us thrive? The people who make the biggest impact on our communities, our association, our profession, and us as individuals are the mentors. Mentors who believe in us, push us to achieve more than we ever thought possible. My story has several twists and turns, some high highs and low lows. But there's one main consistency throughout my story, APWA. It has been there every step of the way and has allowed me to learn about the important work we do, find my passion and grow as a professional, and connect with some pretty amazing people along the way.